𝙎𝙘𝙗𝙖, grand greetings and abundant blessings to us all. I definitely go by Baba Lex, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the channel for a beautiful Sunday teachings. This is a Sunday sermon. We just, as per usual, struggling to get into TikTok this beautiful Sunday. The date is the 22nd of June, 2025 on this Gregorian calendar. Welcome to the Lighthouse Portal, 7.11, 𝙤𝙗𝙗𝙗. And also shout out to Baked Goods, shout out to 𝙖𝙗𝙗𝙗 for the fit today. Okay, this is also on their website, on their online store, on the social media. That's our sister Nikki. Please support, guys, support out of Cape Town, South Africa. But once again, we're here for a Sunday sermon. This one is more on a teachings sort of a level, right? Let me just set this face up. You guys know how this thing does, huh? Yes, you see that there. Wait, whoops. My brother Kalen just hit the room. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're going to do Q&A. I'm going to leave a space for Q&A. Yes, sir. Share, please. Share, please. Let me just situate this thing, guys, please. Give me a second. Raising the Christ oil. Let me know you can hear me correct. Let me know that the visuals are correct. TikTok is going to act funny, so please be patient. And if it kicks you out, come back in. Okay. Boom. Hey, 𝙤𝙗𝙗𝙗. Can you see the topic up there? Raising the Christ oil. Yes? Let me know if you can see the topic. Let me know if you can hear me nicely, correctly. And once again, 𝙤𝙗𝙗 to everybody who's joined. I see my brother Kalen. Hey, on a Sunday. Listen, this is usually a Sunday sermon, but it's more on a teachings type of Sunday sermon, right? Christ oil. Everybody's talking about the Christ oil. Tell us about the Christ oil. Shout out to everybody who joins, but also listen, guys. Let's also be patient because TikTok is acting funny. It might kick you out. It might bring you back in, whatever. But just join, share. So before we kick in nicely, my brother Kalen, how you feeling, man? How you feeling? Shout out 𝙑𝙗𝙗𝙗. How you feeling? You here for some real Sunday sermon? What's Christ oil? Yeah? Baba Lex 𝙒𝙗𝙗𝙗. Not even, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to not even explain. I'm going to show you that this is not something which is beyond you. You actually do this without knowing. You raise your own Christ oil without knowing. Every month. So I'm just going to share this a little bit. You see there's a little panel on the side here. So that's for Q&A, guys. Shout out to those of you who always just continue supporting. And yeah, the pre-order link is available. Please help yourself. Someone asked me, Baba Lex, all of these topics that you speak, number one, resource for free, my YouTube channel at Lex Stays Liquid. Get there. Okay? Subscribe. Go back. But make sure you give yourself time because it's higher consciousness. It's not a 30-second TikTok. Okay? You must be ready to receive. Okay? But also to receive is to give. To give is to receive. As you can see, I've just put up part 3 of mastering electromagnetic waves. Wow. Shout out to all of you who are joining. Please, once again, just share. I can't even pronounce that. Shout out to SSZ29EAZ. Is that a BBM handle? I remember you when I used to have I'm joking. Let me just see if I can share this quickly. Shout out TJ who just joined the room. We're raising the Christ oil. But Baba Lex, tell us about the Christ oil. So let me just share this quickly. And then I'm going to continue with telling y'all about the Christ oil. Not just telling you. Shout out Prasheen Jag. I'm going to be showing you that without you knowing it, you push Christ oil. You push Christ oil. Kalen, my brother Kalen, do you know that? Do you know you push Christ oil? Yes, do you know? Have we had a frequentation about this? Did we talk about this? I'm not too sure. Once again, shout out to Baked Goods. Nikki, let me actually add you and see if you can come in here if you're not busy. I know people are either actually somewhere praising Jesus Christ, but also giving their funds to someone who drives a better vehicle than you. So that's none of my business. Yep, we're going to have a lot of people passing through. We're raising the Christ oil. We're going to get into it right now. As you come in, please share. Also, the likes assist us with the algorithm. This topic, obviously, is super controversial. But once again, there's so many things happening on the planet at this stage. Over here, with Umina, Baba Lex, at least there's stability. So that your mind is not always flying for no reason. You see? Shout out to everyone who's just joining and passing through. Let me see if okay. If Mr. Gaston Lee can jump in there. He's gonna enjoy this one if he's not already privy. I'm sure he is. However, oh yes, you have to come in, brother. Brother, you come in as well. 𝙃𝙚𝙡𝙥. Let me send one through to him there. Nation Business. Let me see if Nation Business available. Shout out, Henny. Okay, cool. I've shared this with about 10 people. Okay, so there's a panel for Q&A. Okay, guys? Keep your questions. But also, Lighthouse Portal, moderator, in terms of pinning, they still don't let you, right? Or what? It's no problem. We're going to continue. So, it's a beautiful Sunday. Yes? Everybody? Okay, so it doesn't let you pin questions. So if you have questions, write them down, and then you're going to jump on the panel and ask those questions once we get there. Okay, I'm gonna quickly speed through this in terms of relative to my teaching structure, because this is, we should all know how to raise the Christ oil consciously. Okay, who's that? Shout out, who's that? Mrivitwo. Shout out. How you feeling? Okay, so we should all by default know how to raise the Christ oil consciously. And I didn't mean to make this sign. Okay, I'm not a. It's just hand gestures. Okay, once again, you should know that these are mudras. These are energetic points. You see, we now need to start to learn what we're doing, because people online tend to, not even just online, in life, because you don't know how to do your own due diligence. You know how to take tuition, pay for tuition, but you don't know how to go in tuition, which is free. You see? So once again, once you go in tuition, you unlock a free thing. It's a free, this is free juice. Okay? Shout out, Linda. Okay, Linda, listen. Okay, so by default, we should already be taught, but this is what we used to be taught in ancient schools. Okay, especially even Tina on the continent, because African spirituality is nature, it's natural. So by default, when you go into the rhythms with nature, you are in season, you are in rhythm. Your melanin is working for you. You see, simple. By default, you then raise your Christ oil. Christ oil, as we kick off, we're just going to do the foundationals, okay? What, where, can you see that? What, where, when, how, why, with whom. Okay, you see that there? You see that there? Number one, boom, foundations. Because none of y'all have a foundation about anything. Shout out, Lee, how you feeling? Okay, so now, so that I don't want any of y'all who don't know what you're saying to jump in here with nonsense. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, come through knowing what you're spewing. Okay, otherwise you're hurting yourself. So guys, so you see, Christ oil has got nothing to do with well, it's got to do with everything to do with you. Christos. Okay? Do you know what that word is? Do you know where Christ, do you know what that means? Do you know what it is to be Christed or Christed? It's to be anointed. Okay? Do your research. Alright? If at any moment you just pull out your Google, boom, 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 tip, etymology. Go back to the root. Okay, when you go back to the root of things, you start to recognize things, because once again, you don't know just these basics. Just these basics. We all know these basics. Okay? So, what is Christ oil? It is cerebrospinal fluid. What is cerebrospinal fluid? Cerebrospinal fluid is the fluid which runs up and down your spine and also into your cerebrus, hence cerebro, spinal. And the fluid that they speak of is what? See? Let me help you out. Boom, in real time. Let's do this, because once again, I don't want any of y'all Christians to pop in your dizzy and just spew now. Blah, 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 blah. No, man. Move. Because you dizzy. Okay? Once again, let's just hit there quickly, just a Google search quickly. Let me not get fancy with etymology and, oh yeah, he's trying to be clever. Wait. Before we get there, because this is a beautiful thing. As we are going through this awakening, what's going to take place is a lot of things which are called truth via solala, yes, solar UVC radiations. Solar UVC radiations are a detoxifier, a germ-killing wavelength, and also a cleanser. It's removing a middleman. It's removing in terms of 666, 6 neutrons, so 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. Okay, protons, electrons, positive, negative, neutron, neutral, balance, or middleman. It's what you call the pastor, the preacher, that person who's the person you go to connect you to God. Make it make sense, because you give them all of what you call tithing. They bleed you out. They also like babies, children, girls, boys. You know that. They wild outside on Motosho, all of them, they outside. Just that he got caught. They there, that's the thing. Y'all don't get it. But you, and you still got supporters. You are crazy. Conscious Men community, we don't support that. Okay? We strongly condemn, that's why we're not involved in this religion debates. It's nothing to debate, because it's already been inverted. What it is meant to be, what we're doing now is teachings. Okay? It's meant to teach you about you. Okay? Shout out Zolani. Raising the Christ oil as we continue, because we're going through the what is Christ oil. So Christ oil, as I told you, is cerebrospinal fluid. So then now, okay. Simple. Let me put that on brightness. Boom. Aha. Seen? Seen. Cerebrospinal fluid. Simple. Okay. So, Christ oil is cerebrospinal fluids. What is cerebrospinal fluids? Cerebrospinal fluid is a clear, colorless liquid that surrounds and cushions the brain and spinal cord, acting as a protective shock absorber and nutrient provider. It also plays a role in waste removal from the central nervous system. Okay, there's a more detailed explanation. Let's jump into it. It's not that long. Okay. Function, because this will answer all of those. Function. So number one, protection. CSF, cerebrospinal fluid, acts as a cushion protecting the brain and the spinal cord from injury caused by sudden movements or impacts. Okay, that's why sometimes you can absorb some blows and you don't just get knocked out. You don't just go sleeping. Okay, you don't exit this dimension for a few seconds. Okay, you don't take a nap. Right? Second, nutrients delivery. It transports essential nutrients and other substances to the brain and spinal cord. Waste removal, number three. CSF, cerebrospinal fluid, helps remove waste products and toxins from the central nervous system. Number four, homeostasis. CSF maintains a stable environment for the brain and spinal cord, regulating pressure and chemical balance. You see? So now what we have is the basic foundation of what Christ oil is. All right? I'm seeing probably that was probably I told you these guys are gonna come in. Oh, but look at the name, Straight Hate. You see that? Wow, beautiful, stunning. So, cerebrospinal fluid has four major functions: protection, nutrients delivery, waste removal, and homeostasis. Next, production and circulation. CSF is primarily produced by the choroid plexus, a network of blood vessels and specialized cells located within the ventricles of the brain. It circulates through the ventricles, hollow cavities in the brain, and the subarachnoid space between the arachnoid and the pia mater membranes that surround the brain and spinal cord. So that's that little space in between your skull, inner skull, and the actual brain. There's that little, that's that liquid. Wow. See? Clinical significance. This is important. CSF analysis can help diagnose various neurological conditions, including meningitis, encephalitis, autoimmune diseases, such as multiple sclerosis, and other disorders. CSF leaks. Where CSF escapes from the protective barriers, can cause symptoms like headaches, dizziness, and vision changes, and may require medical intervention. Okay, you also can get real, a lot of brain trauma. So martial arts, if you're doing extreme sports and you're jerking your dome 24/7, whoops, when you get to, late 40s, let's say 50s, 60s now, you can see, you know what I mean? Even those of you who know Muhammad Ali started shaking, those are some of the effects. Speech impediment, you can't chat properly now, irregular heart, because remember, they just told us its main function is protection. So once that, you keep blasting your dome, whatever it is that you do, whether it be professional or whatever, you're going to reap the rewards, because its function is homeostasis. So if you're not maintaining a stable environment within your cerebrospinal fluid as it is, wow, you're pretty much going to be a walking, something else. Boom. So for those of you, that is what Christ oil is. Point blank, period. If you want to leave, it's all good. Shout out Big Rough. You know what I mean? Okay, so one more time. Cerebrospinal fluid is a clear, colorless, transcellular body fluid found within the meningeal tissue that surrounds the vertebrate brain and spinal cord, and in the ventricles of the brain. Boom. Okay, cool. So now we've pretty much got the foundation of what Christ oil is. You don't have to be confused. Don't let this spell bamboozle you, because that's how it gets us, the spells. You see, because English is inverted. You must know this now. So when we're chatting like this, if you don't know what you're doing, by default you're cursing yourself. Ask any linguist. They'll tell you right now. I mean that's if they're not really that programmed, but you feel me? So since we got the foundation, we're going now into number 2, which I already kicked into. Boom. Number 2, Christ oil, cerebrospinal fluid. It's very basic. Number 3, the story of Jesus Christ. Listen, everybody know that story, but the main part of the story which we should all know is his crucifixion. Okay? Because this story is the story of how you are able and capable of consciously raising the Christ oil, the sacred chrism. Baba Lex, tell us how to raise the Christ oil. No problem. Okay, so over here, the story of Jesus Christ is that he was crucified at, let's say the most important part, which is relevant now, is that he was crucified at what? 33. Okay, 33. What else is 33 on you, on your vessel? On your body. What's also 33? Yes, your spine. 33 vertebrae. Some say Jacob's ladder. Listen, it's all there. Okay, it's all there. Now when you look at that Bible and read the story of Jesus Christ again, you're going to look at it from a different angle. This is the aim, right? The aim over here with Baba Lex is to, with the power of water, clear liquids, right? The law of attunement. You attune yourself to the information. You put it in formation, you inform yourself, you become a true informant. Once you inform self and the cells, you now take charge of your spells. That's why those who are, they know more, say less. Debating online is a fat zilch. It's an egg. Because it doesn't go anywhere. Right. Crucified at 33 vertebrae, Jacob's ladder. I'm enjoying so far. When? Every 28 point, whatever you want to call it, day cycle, we call that a month. Ladies, you know this very well. Okay, in that month, the moon cycles and the sun. Well, the moon cycles, let's keep it to the moon because this is about the emotions. Emotions tied to the moon, tied to water. Also check the teachings if you're confused. Tied to the element of water. Hence why we fast on the full moon, because the shadow's illuminated and we can tap into the shadow. Is pretty much the child version of you who was neglected, disrespected, told you can't, and therefore switched off all of your whys, what, where, when, where, how. Okay, shut up and just get in line to get by. See? So now as we ascending, we're raising. Part of raising means knowing instead of believing. Now you gotta kick off belief. This is why it's going to be tough for the Christians. You're going to jump on your scheme. Oh, blasphemy as per usual. And then want to debate it, which is a zip. Okay? You're debating yourself. It's pointless. Even those of you who are like, oh, blah, blah, let's go back and resurrect this, and no. All of that is irrelevance. What's relevant now is your ability to raise the Christ oil. Okay, as we know, it's the cerebrospinal fluid. All right. Shout out Mike Larry. And to raise the Christ oil, once again, we're speaking about the 33. So how? Every month, every 28 point, whatever they call it, cycle, the moon jumps into each zodiacal sign. Okay. So in other words, whenever you were born, and then doesn't matter about what you believe in right now, it's just about for the story's sake. So whenever, whether you were astrologist or not, doesn't matter. You need to now just know things so that you can put them in formation. You can inform yourself, the true informant, okay? And then your intuition instead of paying tuition. You seen? Simple. You got to now balance the consciousness within you in order to raise your own Christos, your own Christ oil, your own sacred chrism, right? So as this moon, every 28-day cycle, it cycles every 2 point something days, or yeah, just about 2 point, if I'm not mistaken, or 3, yeah, around there. Just double check. But that's how long it spends in each zodiacal sign. Okay, about those 2 point whatever, or just about 3, around there, days. In that day, what takes place is by default from well, people are debating where it's from. I'm not going to say where it's from. However, you can begin to honor yourself and raise it. Okay, by raising it, you take heed of your star sign, your zodiacal sign, 2 days or a day before you begin fasting. Fasting from people, places, and things. That's the honoring, right? You take solitude. In that solitude, you also take heed of what you put in your solar plexus. You take heed of what you put through your black holes. Especially, you become conscious about what you put in through your boom. All of your orify, you take heed. This is what we call the honoring of your own Christ-like nature, your own Christos, right? So by honoring it, what takes place is you also incorporate in the solitude, breath works, your yogic movements, not even just yogic, whatever, just move. You don't have to be on, just do what feels correct, but move. YouTube has got so many things. Google, yonkinto, check, okay? Honor yourself. Watch your thoughts. This is why shadow work is important, okay? This is difficult if you still got monkey minds, if you still got the thought forms kicking. In that case, do your best to do shadow work, okay? But that's still honoring yourself. When you're fasting, You don't have to do straight water fast the whole way through, okay? You can go on to teas, herbal teas, liquids, structured waters, of course. I'm just trying to see what I'm seeing here. You know, I've got plenty different tinctures, so it's just up to you, but keep it light. If you must have maybe OMAD, 1 meal a day. You see what I'm saying? But keep it simple. You simplify to amplify. This is also in my book, The Law of Attunement Teachings, Book 1. The Law of Attunement Teachings, Book 1. Pre-order link is in the bio. Guys, please just help yourselves. We'll be doing shipment once we reach a certain quota because it is independent. So thank you once again for your support. Also check out the YouTube channel at @LexStaysLiquid just to catch up on all of these replays. But once again, as we continue, you're now honoring yourself. You're taking solitude. You're doing the breath work, Wim Hof, whatever, blah, 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 whatever the case. Once again, the best is intuition. Whatever feels correct for you. Best. Have a basic. This is a bean for you. Have a basic gnosis. Have a basic foundation. Okay, I need that. Don't need that. Boom, boom, boom. And then play. This is part of becoming conscious because then you'll know what you are. You begin to actually live as Christ did. If you want to call it a real person. If you still feel that that was a being who walked the planet and gave these teachings. So what the teachings were also said that what I do, you will do even more, even better. See? With that being said, what are you waiting for? So as you begin to honor what you do with the breath work especially, first and foremost, you don't have to be conscious of it, but what happens is you naturally will start to click your spine in certain places, you know what I mean? I know that the lighthouse portal out there in Maui, what is it that you do again? It's called the Ulu. They partake in Ulu. If you want to just put the description quickly, just a short one so I can explain to people. But things like that, okay? Excuse me. Oof, need some water quickly. I guess that's the time of the AM when there's some gut things being released. Yes. You know, we're on circadian rhythm, so can always feel it, right? So guys, shout out. And what is that? What is it called again? Okay, so Ulu is the spine, a spine movement. It's a spine movement dance with your hands. It's similar to Qigong. Okay, I don't know if you guys know that, but once again, YouTube is free and there's Google, there's blah blah blah. So the more you start to utilize all of these practices, okay, Ulu is a movement and a sound self spine movement. Okay, yeah, it's a movement for the spine, similar to Qigong, Tai Chi. You know, focused with breath and moving the spine. Okay, so that especially will allow the fluid to travel. Okay, and then once it reaches 33, okay, it's crucified at 33 at Calvary or Golgotha, which is skull in etymology. All right, in the skull, the hippocampus, all right, the hippocampus holds the king's chamber and the queen's chamber. Pineal, known as the is it the honey? Yes, pineal releases the honey, and then you have pituitary, which releases the milk. Okay, that is what you can also equate to masculine and feminine energies within you. Okay, that's the hot, cold in Ayurvedic teachings or Eastern teachings, they speak about the 𝙃𝙚 and Pingala, the nerves, right? So this is also Kundalini. You see, this is what they say Kundalini rising. Raising the Christ oil is also Kundalini rising. Who's that? Shout out Raplik Priest. We got a priest in here. So that honoring of this sacred chrism, once it reaches there, it gets crucified. Okay, and then these take 3 days to come back down the spinal fluid. Okay, so this is from the Klaus, hence the story of Santa Claus, right? Claustrum. Okay, so coming down from the Claustrum, Santa Claus goes down the 33 again, and as it's passing down, it anoints. That's where we come with Christ oil as anointing oil. So as the Christ oil is coming back down, it touches each glands. Ooh, 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 ooh. And the more you honoring, ooh, ooh, you just, ooh, releasing. Oh, beautiful sacred chrism. It's powerful, okay? Hence, raising the Christ oil. So every month this takes place. Those who are naturally in their flow, this takes place. Those who are excessively abusing, especially alcohol, okay? Alcohol's that kills all of your spiritual ambitions, especially if you a binge artist. All right, yeah, jump on it if you need to. Yeah, cool. You're an adult, go for it. But if you're taking yourself seriously with the spiritual part of your evolution, to raise this Christ oil, you have to be honoring. And also, you have to ask yourself, why are you partaking in not only alcohol, but all of these drugs, but also not just normal street drugs, pharmaceuticals? Because in order to be Christ-like, to raise Christ oil, to raise your kundalini, your cerebrospinal fluid, and then also let it get crucified at Golgotha, Calvary, skull, and then from the claustrum, Santa Claus comes down after 3 days and anoints you through all of your organs, all of your glands, therefore chakras, right? You pretty much start to see clearly now. You start to awaken a Christ-like nature. You seen? It's right here. But you have to be conscious. You have to honor. You can't be a deviant. Sexual deviant, all of that. Just you have to cut that out. You have to cut out the deviancy. 7 deadly sins in your life, and this won't work. And you can ask all of these pastors, all of these ones who are 𝘎𝙘𝙝, ask all of them what's happening in their lives currently. It's a shit show. I'm telling you, they won't show you because you're still giving them money to at least beat the case. But, you know, once again, we condemn that omotosho clown. People like that are plenty, okay? That's a deviant, is what I'm saying. You outside, I'm a man of gods, man of gods, man of gods. On the side, you're a deviant, bruh. You see what I mean? This will actually be worse off for you. You start to actually age. You see, this is the negative part of playing with the spirit. Umoya. This is the negative actual repercussions. But they're taking place in real time. And I'm not here to preach anything because I don't need to. I'm just here with my water, structured that is. Look at that over there. Hey, check. I mean, wow. That's why we don't have what you say friends, because at the end of that spell, friends end. Okay, so in order to raise your sacred chrism, you have to start to begin to attune yourself. Attuning is, it's part of why I also wrote the Law of Attunement Teachings book series. Not only that, I saw it in a full out-of-body experience on my way through. All right, as in the way through is in. The way through to my higher self. Yes. You see, I had to also begin to raise the sacred Christ oil, the sacred chrism. This is why this is a major arcanum for y'all. The Law of Attunement Teachings, Book 1. This is right here why Christ oil and the Law of Attunement are pretty much one and the same thing. Okay, because attuning is utilizing your own fluidity, because we are 70 to 90% water, right? Since we're 70 to 90% water, as per my book, The Law of Attunement Teachings, that must mean that our interaction with not only just what you say water as we know it, but different structures, different iterations, plasmic, in the blood crystal, in our DNA. This is where the junk is held, right? In our ancestral gnosis. It's all there. So, in other words, to attune yourself is to begin to raise your Christ oil, your sacred chrism. Not to say be a Jehovah's Witness. Oh! No, chill. Relax. I'm saying take yourself and your cells seriously. Okay? Have fun, but know why you are doing what you are doing. Don't get there and be like, oh shit, I didn't know. No, you knew. You now know. Okay? This is consistency. You know now what you should know there, so your hindsight is not 2020. Your foresight is now 2020. You seen? You seen this movie before. You seen this scenario before. Don't go forward. You keep going forward when you know it. Don't do that. That's the schizophrenia. That's the everybody going crazy, mental out. See? You have to cleanse that. So begin to actually raise the Christ oil, you must engage in shadow work. Now Baba Lex is not looking so crazy anymore with his shadow work chats. And your fasting chats. You feel me? Oh, that's 𝘼𝙘𝙝𝙗𝙗 saying good night to us, and aloha to you too. Thank you for being available to moderate. I'm about to wrap this up now, so just actually, you know what, stick around for a few seconds. Let's wrap this up. Okay, so because I was actually, you see, didn't even look at the notes properly. Look, you see, you have to, the relation between the Law of Attunement and Christ oil, it's attuning. Balance, which is homeostasis. And what is the function of cerebrospinal fluid? Homeostasis. Hello, Lego. Okay, and then clean up your grid. Clean up your dash gone grid. Yeah, hey, Nina, y'all at the back there must cleanse, Nina. Let's start to cleanse the vessel, man. Let's begin, because now on this solstice, 22 June 2025, on this Gregorian calendar, it's a pivot point for TLOA on the southern hemisphere, because now we can start to set intention, we can start to rest, we can switch on our self-love, self-care, you see, because our new year is 21 September, when spring has sprung. That's the next pivot point. That's the equinox, isn't it not? Spring equinox. See, we pivot again, but not as tough. But once again, if you're still believing in what you believe, you won't be able to know what your heart knows, because once again, there used to be that thing where we used to know it by heart, remember? And then they shifted us to knowing it by like the back of your hand, right? And then you know it by head. So you're now able to be programmed. That being said, please put your questions in the comments. You'll see the replay on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, hey, let me see that subscription. 𝙃𝙚𝙡𝙗. Shh. Please remain blissful. Stay liquid.